Apa kabar sayangs? Welcome back to my channel. Just to start off, I just want to thank you guys for all the love and support for my previous video. You guys have left your comments and some of you have also shared your personal miscarriage experience with us, and some of them are very encouraging, and I really thank you for that, because it's such a brave and bold move to be sharing something so personal in a public space in our little community. But just know that every single comment helped me and definitely helped someone out there, okay? So thank you so much. So for today's video, we'll be going through some questions that you guys have asked us on my Instagram. I put out like a question box and some of you have submitted some questions. A lot are actually well wishes, not too many questions, but I managed to gather like about 10 to 12 questions here. You didn't even say anything.
Yeah,
you should say something. If you guys noticed, we actually have a very special guest, and it is none other than
Daryll.
He's my husband, and of course, we went through this whole ordeal together. I didn't go through it alone by myself. It would have been very difficult. So some of the questions are for you. And I noticed that a lot of people who are sharing their miscarriage experience are women, because they personally and physically go through it, but not a lot of husbands or fathers to be share their side of the story. And that's why I invited my partner right here to just share, how it was on your side.
Yeah, because we men, we keep bottling up our emotions.
Yeah.
Right? And we don't share a lot. So, yeah, I hope I can do justice.
Yeah.
And
it's a different perspective.
Yeah,
so that's a good thing, and I hope that you guys would share this video with your husbands too if you're going through the same thing, okay? Was it hard for us to conceive in the first place? I want to say for that time, no, because we only tried twice. But we don't know.
we don't really know. I think respectfully to everyone out there, I think for us to directly answer this question, it wasn't too difficult. I think also because we strategized and we planned.
We counted. I used ovulation test kits. We
analyze it.
Yeah, we analyze it.
She's an analyst in this. She records every
single data every day.
testing.
Yeah, I took an ovulation test every day after my period, so we were really going for it. I wouldn't say
it's intentional.
Just trying.
Yeah,
it was very intentional. So I think that contributed to the possibility of conceiving.
Yeah. How did the miscarriage happen? What are the causes? Example, if exercise caused it, or habits, or family history, and so on. To be honest, I think even the doctors don't really know why miscarriages happen. And our doctor, our OBGYN, also told us that it's not our fault, it's not her fault. There's a great high percentages of miscarriages happening as well. So it's none of anybody's fault. It's not about exercise, it's not about the way you sit or eat or sleep. It just happens, and sometimes it's also, we believe, a blessing in disguise, because if it's a mismatch of chromosomes and the genes just do not match, the baby's unhealthy, and therefore miscarriages happen.
It's basically something you cannot control. It's just nature doing its job. The next question, did the doctor mention how often it happens? Yes, and it is very often. Just that it is not publicly shared a lot, I feel. And that is why we are sharing our experience, because it opened up so many doors to other people's experiences. I got to know and learn from more mothers who actually went through it, but they did not share. But I've gotten tons and tons of comments, emails, and even direct messages, and some mothers, they were sharing all the details of their miscarriages, and I feel it's really common.
I think the statistics is, correct me if I'm wrong, you can comment in the comment section. I think the doctor says about 30% of couples go through miscarriage, but in our own analysis and data, we think that the analytics or the data is higher than that. Just that no one really knows, or miscarriages happen just like that, and no one really reports it. The amount of stories that we hear, even friends, close friends, family members that we didn't know that they had a miscarriage before, and we found out after
our own experience.
Our own experience. When did you notice it is a miscarriage?
It was during the checkup.
Yeah.
It wasn't like when I was out in public or at home. I guess it dawned upon us when the doctor/gynae said your baby has shrunk. I think that was already a bomb that dropped. And we definitely know that it's a miscarriage lah.
And of course, the heartbeat, when we couldn't hear the heartbeat, I think we went in the 8th week or the 9th week, and the size was still at 6 week.
We heard the heartbeat, just that it was very faint.
Very faint.
Yeah.
And then the doctor, I think, was being very cautious and gracious. She didn't really say the word miscarriage, but she was already going through some processes and telling us what's the next step. Until Charis truly asked, is this a miscarriage?
And then she nodded.
And of course, I think many of us know that the first trimester is the most important. You should really take care of yourself.
Yeah.
The doctor says, don't stress. But we all live in a very stressful world, so I guess just be mindful. Are there any symptoms of a miscarriage?
There weren't any symptoms.
Yeah.
To be
you still felt
totally
pregnant?
honest. Yeah, I still felt pregnant.
Yeah.
After the DNC, I experienced severe cramps. And that was when I was shedding the uterus lining or uterine wall. I don't know the technical terms, but
And
it was
post-op
bleeding, and it was like jelly-like blood. Sorry, TMI, but these are the things that you need to look out for when you are going through a miscarriage, and that's why we are just here to share our experience. But it will go away. It will not last. So. Hang in there if the contractions are super painful. I'm rooting for you. I think other symptoms of a miscarriage, maybe if they are going through it, it's contractions too.
Contractions, yeah, that's what I heard as well. Yeah, and even if you're going through a DNC, don't feel bad for taking your rest, taking a break, 1 or 2 weeks, because your body just literally went through an operation, so you need to rest and let your body realign again, come back to its normal form.
Take your time. Does it hurt? I think the only time that I felt pain was during the contractions. That was like 2 days after the DNC. During the DNC, no pain at all. I went
because you were also on high on meds.
Yeah, but
painkillers.
Yeah, even when I came back, it was
post-op painkillers. Yeah.
Until the second day after the surgery, that's when the contractions happened, and that's when my body was naturally shedding blood. So I think that lasted for like 2 days, and the pain comes in waves.
Yeah.
It's not like it's pain throughout the day. It's like boom. It's like contracting, and then no more, and then it ends there, and then it comes back. Next question.
How long does it take for the mother to recover? Does it take a toll on the body? Physically, I think it took
a month or 2?
Yeah, a month, full solid month to recover. For the body to, I think, just acclimate again. You had your period again.
Yeah.
It's different for everybody.
Yeah, it's different. Definitely different for everybody. And in terms of physical, that's that. But emotionally, it might take you longer, and it's totally fine. For me, because I'm the kind that I will be really sad, I will grieve, I will just dwell in my emotions, but after that, I will move on.
I guess for me, so the emotional part holds a heavier weight during the earlier times for Charis. And for myself, it's maybe at the later stage when you fully realize and has fully, sunk in that you just went through a DNC and miscarriage happened. So for me, I didn't really grieve in that sense, but
you have to stay strong.
I had to stay strong, number one. I think, but number two for me is I process it slower, more silently, and in my own time. And I think I took also a solid 1 month and 1.5 months to fully understand what went on and come to terms with my feelings. And I think that most or majority of guys out there, I think that's how we handle things. It was lonely at times, but I think it's because I chose to be that way. After a while, you know, for me, it's speaking logically to people as well, or to careers and to friends, and just getting that outlet, and I think that helped. Do you do confinement after miscarriage?
It depends on how far along you are, I would think. I think if you have a baby that's fully formed,
not fully formed,
like
maybe in
developed.
your second trimester.
Yeah, maybe
probably.
you might need confinement because you actually push the baby out. For me, the baby was just like
Fetus.
like a little blueberry. So what we did was we got it out through DNC instead of, you know, the normal labor. I didn't really go through confinement. I just stayed away from ice and try to eat healthy as much as possible, and that's it. But I do know some women, they have this thing called pantang. You also drink like red dates, herbal tea, you eat confinement food, but that really depends on your body type, because for me, after eating confinement food, I had a fever.
I think that was the cause of the continuous heavy bleeding as well. To be fair, our doctor told us try to stay away from all these confinement food. You don't really need it.
Ginger, even bakute, she didn't let me
anything
she didn't allow me to eat. Yeah, anything that's heaty.
Or regulates the blood. So
but it's totally different from the Chinese way of pantang. So we were a bit confused at one point.
You will get a lot of information.
You'll get a lot of information. You might be confused, but I think the ultimate tip is to listen to your body. If you're eating confinement food and if it's giving you fever, that's a bad sign already. That's a sign of, you know, stop. Asking you to stop. So just listen to your body and take one step at a time. Don't rush it. Don't listen to just one school of thought. Just see how your body processes the whole thing. How was our journey in overcoming this incident? It wasn't linear, that's for sure. It was like
yeah. So when we knew that we had a miscarriage, I think the logical part was to gain a second opinion as fast as possible. Then I think the emotional part of it is to gain access to people that we trust, or close friends or family that can share their experience with us, and that's what we did with one of our close friends as well.
And pray for us too.
And to pray for us and to journey with us, and I think that emotional support from them, and after that other couples as well that came along our way, I think that allowed us to have an access to them, allowed us to have an outlet, allowed us to emotionally, you know, process and logically process this whole ordeal. Like Curry said, it was a lot of ups and downs because some days you're fine. It can be fine one day, then after that you think about it, or you just, I don't know, it can be a trigger. Because if you hear of a story a song, or you remember something, that moment, that trigger, it can again bring out that memory, and you probably cry, you feel sad, and then half the day is gone. And then after that you can be happy again, you know, you can say I'm moving forward, and then you dip down again, and I think it's totally fine.
And for Daryl, I actually don't see him cry a lot. I think the last time I saw you cry was during our wedding in 2020, mid-2020. And I think that weekend was the most difficult for you, right? Like, we woke up, then we questioned God a little bit. We're like, why did this happen? And then I saw you cry just for 2 days. And then you stopped. But I guess it was good for you to let it out. Just tear lah. Okay, he didn't like bawl.
Korean tear.
Korean drama tear.
So I release it through workouts as well. Then I think after like when cooling down, then I cried a bit because just in my own time, I needed to just release it, and that's fine. I guess it's really up to you when you want.
And it's totally fine for a dude to cry, to grieve, because you have emotions too. I know you're trying to be strong for your partner and everything, but have that moment or that opportunity to just let it out, and it's totally fine. There are no judgments. It's a miscarriage. It's a big thing. You just lost a baby.
What was your first thought and feeling when you guys found out?
Confused.
Yeah, a bit confused. A bit. I felt numb.
I felt my body trembling. Now that I relive the moment, like I'm trying to recall it, I can still feel my body trembling. Like, wow. Oh, that was so scary. It was a very scary experience.
For the lady, for the women who are going through miscarriage, is a bit more internal because the baby is inside you, in her. For me, I guess in that sense, I'm detached from that physical experience, right? So for me, it's more of just numb than logical thinking, okay, what's next? Like how much time this will take? What are the different setbacks? What's the timeline? How much would this cost? No, to be real, right? How much would this cost? What needs to be done? Because the doctor gave us 3 options and they're all different pricing. And then how long does it take to recover? When can we try again? I mean, all these thoughts ran through simultaneously, but not in such a clear fashion. I think throughout the days, then you start thinking more. More of the fear or the struggle of, oh, I have to be strong now for her as well. How long would this take? This is an extra responsibility. For women, I think you felt more of just an internal absorption of that the fetus or the baby is just dying inside.
Yeah. That was a very traumatic experience because you're carrying something that's fading away, that's dying.
Can't do anything.
And you can't do anything about it. It's such a helpless moment for us. Like both of us, we cannot control it. We just feel so helpless. We just had to go through it. And that was the time where we totally just relied on God. It's a very humbling experience. Because as humans, we think that we can control every single detail of our lives, but until these things happen to you, that's when you surrender to God and just let Him take control. How are we now?
Now it's February. Is in February.
We experienced it in November
2021.
2021.
Now it's February 2022.
Yeah, we announced it in December. So now it's February.
It feels long yet not too long ago, but I think we had a really solid 1.5 months of just going through the whole journey, like being in the thick of it. I think that really helped us come out of it.
But now looking back, it's like, oh, it seemed like very long ago. But it's
but
actually not.
Yeah.
But we are currently doing well. Like my body has recovered. I started to exercise more and I'm feeling fine. I have more energy now. But emotionally, we're hopeful, I think, because of what we went through and with the support that we had. I think that's
I think that was one of the biggest key to recovery.
Exactly. So
the community, the support.
If you're going through a miscarriage, find support. Don't go through it alone because it's such a lonely journey. And to move on faster, I think you gotta have like a strong support system behind you, like your family, friends that you can trust, people who will not judge you for having a miscarriage. Because you know, in Asian culture, it seemed like a failure in a way, but it's not. Okay, let's not have that kind of mentality because it's not your fault.
I think for us, what really helped as well is through God's grace. It's by prayer and reading His Word and understanding. Again, probably we cannot fully understand the spiritual things, but for us, it's also by God's grace. I think He placed people in our lives. That's how we have the community and our mentors, our marriage counselors as well that journeyed with us. And I think that God's grace and presence was felt even more during this time. I think that also helps speed up the recovery process.
Last question, when will we be trying again? We've already been trying. To be completely honest, oh my goodness. We're so honest.
The doctor or the OBGYN, I think our last checkup was December, was it? Just before New Year's? And after the checkup, everything was clear. Just some blood clots here and there, but the doctor said, you know, it will go off naturally, take some supplements. and looks healthy. If you guys want to, you can try again.
Yeah.
And really, we thank God for that. It was pretty quick.
I've heard of couples taking like 1-2 years to try again, and it's totally fine. It's just different couples operate on different paces, and it's totally your prerogative. Hello, it is future Chris and
Future Daryl.
so when I was editing halfway towards the end, the audio completely cut off, so the whole chunk of our answer and our ending got cut off. So we're here to continue our answer. So we were basically saying that we're gonna try again. We are going to just keep our hopes up for now, and to all those who are trying, it really depends on your own timing, your own pace, if you're ready to try or not.
To those of you who maybe still feel fearful, take your time. Everyone is different. Our journey is different. Yours is different as well. So take time to come to terms with it. Make sure that your husband, your partner knows and is fully aware of your emotions before you try, and make sure you just get on the same page as well.
Honestly, I'm still a little bit scared because it was a traumatic experience, right? But I don't want to let that fear kind of stop us from, having a child.
So thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your questions. We hope that our answers made an impact, and we hope that you gain some insights. And if you're going through something yourself, similar as us, we hope that we brought and shed some light into this. So thank you so much. Like and subscribe. And you have any more questions, leave it in the comment section, or you can also ask her.
Ask me and don't ask you. Alright, that's it, and we'll see you in our next one. Bye, sayang!
Bye.